Another negative effect that we have noticed as a result of apartheid is the children, even though we want parental involvement, unfortunately, parents aren't always in the same province as the child. So if a child is in a rural school in Chalumkwa somewhere, the parent may not necessarily be there. The parent may be in Johannesburg working. So we then become the guardians and the support for these children. And then we've got to involve grandparents and communities. And that's where Africa Tikkun come in. They go into the communities first with their Cradle to Career program, forge relationship with the communities so that the communities trust us when we do go into the ECD centers and we are entrusted with their children.
I think you'll see, if I may just interject, how this also fits into the whole Africa Tikkun Cradle to Career model. The philosophy that we've got in Tikkun is that if we can influence a child's behavior, a child's sense of self at an early stage, you're far more likely to obtain productive outcomes as they get older. The grounding is necessarily there. Not only the grounding in mathematics and literacy that makes them school ready, but necessarily how they deal with issues such as respect, discipline, how to promote a mind of inquiry. Last night, I had dinner with the Minister of Science and Technology and heard all about government's plans to build wonderful innovation hubs and create funding available for innovation initiatives. And we talked at length about how critically important it was to inject, as it were, a spirit of curiosity at that very early stage, which ultimately leads to an inquiring mind which will innovate. So the Early Childhood Development Program is fundamental to Africa Tikkun's Cradle to Career Development initiatives. And getting off to the right start necessarily means that we are already way ahead of the game, particularly when you compare it to, as I said, the nature of education, the legacy of the Bantu Education Act that unfortunately still casts its shadow today. I'm very confident because I've seen government grasp these opportunities together with us in partnership. I'm confident that we are seeing increasingly local and international donor support for such initiatives, particularly as we all recognize and realize just how important that early stage of a child's development really is. Last point, by engaging the parent in the process early on, we have found that the parents typically stay engaged as a child matures. If we don't engage parents at an early stage in their child's education, invariably that relationship is lost later. So Africa Tikkun Manani is designed in such a way to engage parental involvement, the sharing through the assessment center of how each individual child is progressing is part of that. We've also incorporated, I should say Teresa has incorporated a program that is designed to include children with various disabilities into the Early Childhood Development project so that they're not excluded. This whole program is premised around disability inclusion, which again, I think is something of a pioneering effort, certainly in South Africa, if not globally.